Hi, I'm Catherine Jane O'Rourke, Associate of Hayes Solicitors LLP, and I'm joined by Breda O'Malley, partner of the firm and accredited mediator. Thank you for joining me, Breda.
Thank you very much, Catherine Jane, for having me.
Not at all. Perhaps could you share with me a little bit about your experience as an accredited mediator and how and when you qualified?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to. I have been practicing as a solicitor for 12 years, both in the area of employment law and commercial law, when I recognised that I had a personality, skills, and character that lend themselves to being a good mediator. So I took the opportunity to go train as a mediator and did that with the London-based Centre for Effective Dispute Resolution. That was in 2009. And since then, I have increased my practice really month on month, year on year as a mediator, and I'm really very passionate about it. I combine it with my day-to-day practice as an employment law specialist leading the Hayes employment law team.
And Breda, could you tell me a little bit about the sort of disputes you deal with?
I guess because I practice day-to-day as an employment lawyer, I am known in the market in that area, so I tend to get asked to do a lot of workplace disputes. I also do boardroom disputes. I've been involved with charities where there's been a breakdown amongst trustees, and I've navigated and been a mediator at those kinds of disputes. I've been involved in property disputes. So a wide myriad. I don't tend to do family law disputes, but I'm really able to deploy the skills. They're very versatile, the skills as a mediator, so they can be deployed into employment, workplace, commercial, any range of issues, to be honest with you. Anywhere there's a dispute that could be a mediator is my answer.
Very good. And what advice would you give to someone considering entering into the mediation process?
I would firstly establish that they understand what's being asked of them and they know what a mediation is and how it differs from other dispute resolution methods like court or direct negotiation. Because I think the individuals in the mediation, they need to have a confidence in the process and they need to understand what's being asked of them. And typically what you're saying to somebody is like, will you volunteer to come into a process that is confidential? It can be the record, that it enables all of the parties to a dispute to recognise there is a dispute as a fact. What gave rise to that, people will have their own perspectives, but really a mediation is about helping people move beyond the dispute, putting it behind them and addressing their priorities for the future arising from the dispute. And my job as a mediator then is to craft my way through that, understanding what's given rise to the dispute, understanding the various perspectives that come, and usually opposing perspectives from the different parties, and then understanding what the priorities are for the individuals. And then my job is to find the common ground to enable me to put together a patchwork of common ground to enable the dispute to be resolved once and for all, and for parties to shake hands in a legally enforceable deal to say, job done, dispute over, now it's about the future.
Very good. And what would you say sets you apart as a mediator in the market?
I probably could talk to what has been said of me rather than what I necessarily say of myself. I mean, I recognise in myself a very deep-seated passion around mediation, and I think that links to my sense of value around life. I struggle to understand why people would want to sit in the context of kind of embracing a dispute that has happened months or years ago rather than moving on in a positive way with life. So I think my approach to mediation sort of echoes that value system. And I guess what is said of me then in my work as a mediator is that I'm very patient. It does need patience. It needs a really good listening. And I ask of parties coming into mediations with me that they bring really deep-seated, effective listening with them, that they listen very honestly and respectfully to the other side. I acknowledge that they may not like a thing that they're hearing and they might dispute it vehemently, what's being said. But I say to them, look, you'll be given space and time to echo your perspective. Just afford everyone the courtesy of being really heard. And it's amazing how that transforms a room and transforms the positions of parties to a dispute. So often, when parties to a dispute actually open their ears and their minds to what is being said by other parties, they actually sometimes come to realise that, oh, I hadn't realised that, or I hadn't appreciated that, or I thought that was being done for a different reason, or I misunderstood that, or I distrusted that. Whereas sometimes when you look a person in the eye and truly listen, you can actually realise that the narrative I have compounded for myself about a situation isn't actually as accurate as I might have liked or thought it to be.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much for joining me today, Breda.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share with you. I love mediation, so delighted to spread the word.
Thank you.